Good evening. The Wayzata Public Schools Board of Education regular meeting for March 10th, Monday, March 10th, 2025 will please come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Also at 7 p.m.
Yes, sorry.
Paris Bende. Oh, absent. Sheila Pryor. Present. Sarah Johansson.
Here.
Heidi Cater.
Here.
Valentina Ayers.
Here.
Dan Ginestra.
Here.
Milan Sahoni.
Present.
Chase Anderson.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Please rise to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. If you wish to speak during the audience opportunity to address the board, please fill out a form placed in the back of the room there and hand it over to our district administrative assistant, Amy Guy, sitting to my right. All right, I'm going to just reminisce on the past 5 years since COVID started. So it was not long ago, 5 years back in March 2020, that the COVID-19 pandemic had a significant and far-reaching impact on public schools across the globe. We remember school closures and remote learning. We remember learning loss and academic impact. We remember the effect on mental health and social development. We remember teacher burnout and staffing shortages. We remember changes in education policies and infrastructure. We remember changes in increased family involvement. But as a society, we have worked hard to combat this tragedy forced upon us. We have worked together to accommodate, modify, improvise, and navigate through the hurdles. Together, we have been resilient to forces beyond our control. Wayzata in particular has come a long way since March 2020. Today, we are once again talking of increased enrollment and decreased class size, decreased cost cutting. We are working hard on manageable class sizes. Most importantly, our students are as close as it can get to pre-COVID days when it comes to learning. Thank you to the families, the staff, the teachers, the community, and the students for standing united against the scourge that was COVID. Thank you to my board colleagues for working hard and diligently in their commitment to one of our most precious commodities, the students of our district. Okay, moving on to the agenda. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda and the consent agenda items. Consent agenda items are considered routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or a citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed as a consent agenda item and addressed. The consent agenda items are listed in the materials. The recommended action is to approve the agenda and the consent agenda items. Is there a motion?
I so moved. I second.
Moved and seconded. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Paris Bende is absent. Sheila Pryor, yes. Heidi Cater.
Yes.
Valentina Ayers.
Yes.
Dan Ginestra.
Yes.
Sarah Johansson.
Yes.
Milan Sahoni.
Yes, thank you. We have an agenda. All right, the next item on our agenda is reports from organizations. Organizations, yes, or organization, I guess, student council. And I would like to invite Marcus Westman, Student Council President from Wayzata High School, to please come forward. Welcome, Marcus.
Thank you so much, everyone, for having me today. I really appreciate it. I hope you're all doing well. I'm Marcus Westman, and I'm the senior class president at Wayzata High School, and I'm filling in today for Peyton Moidel, who is our vice president, who couldn't be here today. I have some updates from our ever-active high school student body for you. Last month, Student Council, our organization, organized our annual Staff Appreciation Week. Many students got involved in writing personalized messages to display on teachers' doors throughout the schools, and we would like to once again thank our amazing staff for creating such a welcoming environment for our learning. Students at the high school also enjoyed an extended President's Day weekend a couple weeks back due to a snow day on the 18th. Thank you, Dr. Anderson. They are also very much looking forward to an e-learning day this Friday and spring break in just a few short weeks here. Our younger high schoolers are also getting plenty of attention this April, with freshmen attending the Respect Retreat tomorrow, while sophomores and juniors are taking the ACT. And next week, 8th graders from around the district will descend on the high school for Peace Days, where they will begin their transition to the high school. So it's a very exciting time. In other news, the Trojan Tribune is back at Wayzata High School. A group of students is working to revive the old school newspaper, and the first issue was published last week. It contains some excellent articles if you'd like to check it out. Our speech team has been finding incredible success at its most recent competitions, including the regional qualifier competition, which was held on Saturday, and they are sending many of their members to a national competition in the coming weeks here. In addition, our DECA and BPA clubs both participated in back-to-back state tournaments this past week, so lots of kids away from the high school, but they're all back now, don't worry. And Wayzata participants did amazing at both of these competitions. At DECA, Sanjana Guraprasad, Malini Patel, Asmi Sinha, and Rahul Bilakanti all placed in the top 5 in each event they competed in, and Wayzata DECA is super excited to be sending 53 members to internationals. At BPA, they are sending 72 of their members to nationals, which is taking place in Orlando, which they are also very excited about. Finally, the 9th and 10th grade musical Music Man wrapped up last weekend to a phenomenal run. We also have a lot of sports news happening. Today was the very first day of spring sports, and a lot of our students are very excited to be beginning those. Boys basketball will play Hopkins in the section final tomorrow night at Hopkins High School. And the girls basketball team unfortunately lost to Hopkins in the section championship last Friday. Boys hockey as well, unfortunately, lost to the Edina Hornets in their section championship as well a few weeks back. But Sophie Hawkinson, ending on a high note, of the soccer, basketball, and track and field teams won the 2025 Athena Award in the past week here. So those are all the updates I have for you, but thank you all for having me today, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Thank you, Marcus. You were very modest in not stating that you won the big award. So we will applause. We will hold the applause for when you are felicitated. So thank you for the presentation.
That's later, Mr. Sahoni. Don't worry.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Comments, questions, colleagues? Yes.
I do. I'm so excited about the Trojan Tribune. So is it online? Is it in print? Like, how does a person read it?
Yes, so at the moment, the Trojan Tribune is only online, but they're working on a print edition coming up soon. And it is some phenomenal articles which feature a lot of content from around the district and the school, especially on some policies that are new for this year at Wayzata High School, which is very exciting to get the student opinion there. But they're also focusing on a lot of different issues around the world. One of the articles was on the Grammys, I believe. So lots of content covered.
So is it like on the website or like Trojan, or
Yes.
am I asking you a hard question? We can find out later, but.
No, I think I got there through their Instagram, but I
Okay.
don't know exactly how to get there.
You can do that. Okay,
I'll bring a QR code next time for you.
thanks.
I just wanted to say thanks for coming. We missed Peyton, but you did an excellent job too. Don't worry.
Thank you.
And I can't think of a better weather for the first day of spring sports. Hopefully it stays so nice. Not too hot, not too cold. But thanks again for coming in.
Of course, it's beautiful out.
Okay, if there are no more questions and comments, thank you, Marcus. We will hopefully see you next month, you or Peyton. So thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda is recognitions, and Director Pryor will join Dr. Anderson this time at the podium this evening.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Chase Anderson. I'm the superintendent for the school district, and it's always my honor to convene the recognitions portion of the school board meeting. Our first recognition this evening you just heard from is Marcus Westman, and I would like to invite him to come forward So he can be here to stand in front of you when I say all these nice things about him. He is the recipient of the John Lewis Youth Leadership Award. That's worth a round of applause right out of the chute. And to help us all understand better what this means, I'd like to share the following script and then give Marcus an opportunity to share a few comments if you'd like, or you all comment it out after giving the update. I'll share the following. A huge congratulations to our very own senior class president, Marcus Westman, for winning the John Lewis Youth Leadership Award. This past week, Marcus was given this award by the National Association of Secretaries of State as a recognition of Marcus's achievements and aspirations in social justice and leadership. Marcus discovered his interest in representational government on the Student Council. This year marks Marcus's 2 years as class president of the largest student council in Minnesota with 225 members. During that time as student body president, he developed or shepherded over 30 events and oversaw more than $12,000 in charity fundraising and distribution. Beyond Wayzata, Marcus saw the need not only for more voter registration and pre-registration in high schools. Marcus consulted with experts in elections, outreach, and nonprofit management and formulated a business plan. Marcus founded the Youth Voter Project in 2023, a nonpartisan youth and student-led organization focused on youth voter pre-registration and voter education in Minnesota. He recruited board members and 34 student ambassadors across Minnesota. He found a fiscal sponsor, secured a $5,000 grant, and under his leadership, the Youth Voter Project added over 1,000 registrations and pre-registrations through student-led registration drives at 28 Minnesota high schools in the first year alone. That count is now over 2,400, and Marcus has created a solid foundation for that work to continue after he graduates and goes on to college. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Marcus and give him an opportunity to share a few thoughts with you. Congratulations. Well done. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you everyone for having me today, and thank you, Dr. Anderson, for those very kind words. I didn't write anything down because I'm just so grateful for you all, and I kind of wanted this to come from the heart, but your support from the board here over the past few years has been absolutely instrumental to my success, and all of you have played an incredible role in everything that I have done and just my life in high school over the past few years. You all have been great. You've been good friends, honestly, and huge supporters of me over the past few years, and I truly, truly appreciate everything you've done. Nothing that I did in the Youth Voter Project or in Wayzata High School Student Council would have been possible without your support. So I thank you all. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Marcus. Well done. Next, I would like to invite Christine Bradbury to please come forward. You might be wondering, why would I invite Christine Bradbury forward? I'm going to tell you. She is our Employee of the Month from Northwoods Elementary School, and she has a nice cheering squad here with her tonight. I'd like to share the following script that was submitted on her behalf. Northwoods Elementary School is honored to name Christine Bradbury as the Wayzata Public Schools March Employee of the Month. Chris has worked at several buildings in the district over the years as both a paraprofessional and attendance secretary. However, she found her forever home when she joined the staff at Northwoods as the office paraprofessional when the school opened in 2019. Chris is the heartbeat of the Northwoods office. She makes strong connections with students, staff, and parents. Chris always has a smile on her face and is willing to lend a helping hand. She's not afraid to insert her no-nonsense approach and sense of humor into the day-to-day operations at Northwoods. Her strong dedication and compassion shines through every day. Chris is always willing to take on a challenge. Her commitment to making the Northwoods parking lot a safe and efficient experience for our community is legendary. Maybe she'll tell us more about that in her comments. I didn't know that. That's a new thing for me. You will often see Chris directing the car line, assisting students on snowy days, and connecting with bus drivers to ensure that each student arrives and departs school safely. Thank you, Christine Bradbury, for being an invaluable part of our team. You inspire us every day. Congratulations.
Marcus, you're a tough act to follow. I don't know. Thank you, Dr. Anderson, school board. I'm very humbled by this. I am lucky to have been in Northwoods since the first day that we started opening up our doors. Last week, we had all of our fifth graders line up to have their class picture taken, and it dawned on me, and I said to Danya, they've gone K to 5. This is our first group that went the whole distance through Northwoods. We're kindergarten teachers, where did the time go? Since I'm the person at the front door, I get the honor of greeting and meeting all the families and kids that come through our school. I love that part of my job, building relationships with our community. When Jenny hired me, I believe one of the questions was, how am I going to do a transformation from working in a classroom to being in the office? My answer, I think, was, it's all about the kids. Being on my job, I get to see all the kids every day. I have to shout out to everybody in the Northwoods community. All the teachers, paras, custodians are the best. Getting to work with just about all of them on a daily basis makes my job fun. Thank them for everything that they do. Finally, my office family, Danya. She is our admin pro. I tell you all the time, I couldn't be you. You are amazing, and I learn from you every day. What you do with diversity and equality for all is amazing. Danya is fluent in Arabic. I don't know if any of you know that. When we have a family come in, I push my chair back and I'm just like, we have Danya. And it's beautiful. Thank you. I learn from you every day. Jennifer Fuzzy, what don't you do? Your kindness and caring ways to everybody is second to none. Thanks for always checking with me, Anna. How are you? You good? And always being there to listen. You're a blessing. Thank you. Amy Brabine's not here. She's our social worker. Extraordinaire. Her compassion and care for all the Northwoods kids is so genuine and constant. She's a gift. Thank you, Amy. Margot Bloomer, she's new with us this year. She's our counselor. It's a new position. She has fit in like a glove. I love how she is with the kids, and they adore her. Thanks, Margot, for joining our team. Catalina Sierra, she's our nurse. We call her Mary Poppins. She's like, kids just gravitate to her. She is like a magnet. In sickness and in health, Catalina is one of the most popular people in our office. The kids love her, and rightly so. Catalina is fluent in Spanish. So like Danya, her language skills are so valuable. Again, I sit in awe of her diversity and her way with our families. Thank you, Catalina. Lastly, Jenny Berg. What can I say? You're my friend. You're my boss. You're my calming influence. You're my comfort zone. When I need to take a time out, you know me better than I do. Thank you for being able to read me like a book. What a community you have built at Northwoods, literally from the ground up. Running into you in the hallway at Greenwood during your building process for Northwoods was my fortune. Thank you for taking me on and extending my working career. I have put off retirement many years because of what you have created at Northwoods. Thank you. Because of you, I love my job. Again, thank you for this humbling recognition. Thank you.
And our final recognition for this evening is to read the names of two individuals who have indicated their intent to retire. And those two individuals are Molly Hildebrand, paraprofessional, Kimberly Lane, who's worked with us for 10 years, and Jill Snyder, paraprofessional at Plymouth Creek, who has worked there for 19 years. I'm not spotting either one of these two folks here, but I'm sure they're watching on YouTube, and we'll take the opportunity to give them a round of applause at this time. And that concludes our recognitions for the evening. And I thank you for being here for that tonight. Thanks so much.
Okay, congratulations to the honorees again, and thank you, Dr. Anderson and Director Pryor. Okay, we now have the highlight of our regular meetings, the school spotlight presentation. Tonight we are joined by Northwoods Elementary. I don't see Director Dana Miller here to introduce you, so Dr. Anderson will do that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sahoni. Dana Miller was unable to be here this evening, so in her stead, I will introduce the Northwood team. So whoever is part of the presentation, feel free to work your way up to the presentation area. Pull up some more chairs if you want. Just be sure you put them back where you found them. Just kidding. I'll just share a little note here before I turn it over to Jenny and her crew. This month, we're shining the spotlight on Northwoods Elementary. We're creating a culture of belonging to positively impact the student experience, and academic excellence has been one of the areas of focus this year. Specifically, Northwood staff selected the student experience site goal of 100% of students at Northwoods Elementary School will respond always or almost always on the student engagement survey item, "In school, adults help me feel good about who I am." Tonight, the Northwoods team is excited to share their progress as they continue fostering a supportive and enriching learning environment. Jenny, I'll turn it over to you and your team. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. I think we're all a little teary right now. When Chris left Northwoods today, she said, "I'm just going to say thank you when Dr. Anderson reads my speech." So if we're a little verklempt, forgive us, please. I'm super lucky to be here with an awesome team of women tonight. Jennifer Fuzzy is our Dean of Students, and I have 3 members of our amazing kindergarten team of teachers here. Jenna Quick, Peyton Humiller, and Madison Cox. And the reason I wanted to have the kindergarten team be here with us tonight is to really talk about creating that sense of belonging and building community at Northwoods. It's one of our foundational pieces at our school. We often talk about meeting our belonging needs. We often talk about building a strong community. And it's our belief that doing the groundwork even before our parents start their kindergarten journey with their children makes a huge impact on how people perceive our school. I think if you come and visit our school, you would comment on the feeling you get when you come in. It's a very welcoming place. It's a high energy place. There's a lot of smiles. Sure, we have difficult days occasionally, but I think when it's over, we all really care about each other, and we all love the kids that walk through the door every day, and I think that really shows. So today, we are going to talk about the events that we and the district have created to help our newest families come through the door and feel like they belong. I'm a big believer in then when people walk into a space and feel like, "You've been waiting for me, I belong here." It's a wonderful feeling, and I wish everybody had that feeling in every school in the country that they walked in where they felt like, "This is my spot." So we're just going to talk today about, Jennifer's going to go over a little bit about the Minnesota Department of Education formula and what they're looking for in this journey for our kindergarten students, along with some of our data. And then our wonderful team is going to talk about some of the activities that we provide for our parents and students coming to Northwoods and all of our schools this upcoming school year.
So this first slide is highlighted from the Minnesota Department of Education, and we started this off with our parents on K-Night that we'll talk about as well. And what we're really looking for is how we're not telling our families this is what our kids need to know, but we're welcoming and we're ready to help them feel like they belong and they're a part of our community. So we like this equation that the Department of Ed put forward because it's taking our families, it's taking the programs that you all and our district put together, and who we are in our Northwoods community and what is expected from the state and the state standards and our systems to create successful learners. So this guides us along with our district strategic roadmap and our equity commitments, and then our Northwoods mission that Jenny and Chris have alluded to in that whole concept of sense of belonging. And we talk about how we're a community where we're community of learners where we're really looking for everyone to belong and to grow. And then that leads to the next slide, which is what Dr. Anderson shared in our intro, the student experience goal. And we're really looking for 100% of our students to really feel that sense of belonging, and specifically with student engagement is in school, adults help me feel good about who I am. So when we did this, we assess students in these questions in January of each year. And the results showed that 95% of our students do feel good about who they are when they come to Northwoods and when they show up. So we use this along with our literacy goal, along with our other engagement questions, but primarily this one to lead what we do in our building leadership team, that leads to our PLC, that leads to our professional learning experiences. And it's all embedded in who we are and what we are, again, for our students. And then this leads to what Jenny referenced.
When we started breaking down the activities that we do with our parents from January until September, it became very clear to me how many departments in the district really make these events take place. We're definitely the face of Northwoods, but there are so many groups of people working behind the scenes so that our parents and our children have a seamless experience when they come through our doors. And so when we review each of these events and kind of the purpose and what we're looking for, the impact, we also wanted to recognize, I know that the event in January worked because of the work that Amy and her team did in the communications department. And I know that it worked because of what happened from the Welcome Center. Just individually having someone greet all of our parents at that event made a huge difference. Providing a place for people to register for kindergarten at that event was a difference. But sometimes I think those people that are doing all those operational things day by day, we don't recognize that they are what's holding us together. And so we just wanted to recognize them and the support they provide us every day behind the scenes. I can call any one of 12 of these people, and I know they would help me in a minute or point me in the right direction to help my team feel supported. But I think sometimes that gets lost a little bit in the mix. So I just wanted to make sure they were acknowledged as well. And now we're going to start with our first event, right? That starts in January, the one we've already finished, the Get Ready for K event.
Yeah, so Jenny's alluded to a lot of what we have done, but this January event, the Get Ready for K Night, which is the next slide, it is our first opportunity to connect with families at Northwoods, and it also coincides with the enrollment being open, and so it's a nice segue into helping and supporting families, getting to know who we are as a community. The goal is really to promote the enrollment, to define kindergarten and what it's about, and then start building those connections and faces to the space and the place that we live in at Northwoods. And our goal really is to increase that sense of belonging, or to build that sense of belonging from the beginning and really welcome everyone. So that's the first opportunity in January.
I am Madison Cox, like Jenny said, and I am talking about the Hike Through Northwoods, which is our event coming up in May. And it is one that we take a lot of pride in kindergarten. It is really the first point that the kindergarten kiddos get to come and meet us, and they get to be welcomed into the building. Families get to come in, we get to ease some of those nerves. Parents can ask questions. And as you see on the slide, that's our map. So they go through a Northwoods hike and they see lots of people along the way. A few things I want to point out on the map. The apple is the Wayzata Cafes. Parents get an opportunity to chat with our culinary staff, ask if they're concerned about any allergies or food menu items, those types of things. Students also get the opportunity to practice taking a tray by, scanning their card, and getting a lunch. Another stop that I want to highlight on our map is our nurse's office. So as Chris said, Miss Catalina is one of the most loved in the office staff. And on their hike, they get a Band-Aid and they get a paw print on their map as well. And then continuing on the map, they get to enter a kindergarten classroom. This is where they get to meet 2 to 3 of our kindergarten teachers, and parents can ask questions. What does it look like in a day of life of a kindergartner? We get to answer those questions, calm, they're littles and they're studying them for the first time, and that brings a lot of feelings. And so we get to help ease those nerves while the kids get to explore a classroom, find different things around the room, color a coloring page, those types of things. And on the way out, we encourage them to go to the playground. We really want them to build peer-to-peer connections that are maybe outside of their neighborhood. And this is a great opportunity for them to make some more connections. We have lots of partners throughout the district that help support us in this event, and we couldn't make it as successful as it is without them. It's one that we truly enjoy.
My favorite event, bus ridership night. This is the night, and many of you I know are at bus ridership, and I tried to explain to them how great bus ridership night is, but I don't know. What I love about this night is it really provides a very positive opportunity for students to ride the bus and to have parents feel good about their children getting on the bus. I do not know if you have visited the Northwoods parking lot at 7:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday, but it's very busy. And we've done a lot of groundwork trying to get our families to ride the bus, just because it's safer actually, and it helps all of our kids get to school on time so we can actually start doing what we need to do. It has gotten better. Weather is not our friend sometimes. When it snows, everyone feels the need to drive, but we're getting there. But I think that evening provides a great community opportunity for families to see all the PTAs and PTOs in the district, all of you. It's the first time they officially meet Dr. Anderson when he gives a speech or a welcome in the cafe or in the auditorium. And I think that all the different departments there it's super obvious to see everyone coming together and that we are a community of Wayzata. And I just think it's a wonderful event. I love it, and I think it makes a big difference for our kids. This is an event that our families ask about a lot. So I'm looking forward to it in August. It's on my calendar already. I know.
I'm Peyton. I'm going to talk about the next event that we have, which is Jumpstart. So last year was our first year doing Jumpstart. It's a partnership between community ed, us, and then families. So this event is split into 2 days. The families get to choose a morning or an afternoon. And it's really just the condensed day of a kindergartner. So in order to join Jumpstart, you have to be registered for kindergarten. And then families will drop off their kids at the front doors, and then we welcome them into our space. There's typically between 2 and 3 staff that get to join this Jumpstart experience, or all of us who is ever available to do this. It's like the end of August this year, so that's super exciting. And then Jumpstart looks like just a shortened day. So we start with morning circle. So we learn each other's names, really get that sense of belonging and who we are as a community. And then we go into read aloud, another time to connect with our peers. So what's the book about? Just connecting and turning and talking, all of those things that we do every day. And then we go into snack, which is another community thing that we all do together every single day. We go to the playground, we join the gym. So a lot of these things are just getting kids acclimated in our space so that it makes it feel like home. And I'm noticing a sense of belonging, and I feel like this is for the kids, and I feel like that's what we want our kids to feel that. And so this opportunity is really for the kids. And so we love that. Yeah.
My name is Jenna Quick, as pictured, and I am more than excited to talk with you all about Hopes and Dreams conferences. This has been a recent shift in our school calendar in the last couple of years, and we in the kindergarten world have appreciated this so much. To be able to have dedicated time with each family, building those connections with your own classroom teacher, your own children that will be in that class, has been so valuable to us. So we've appreciated that shift in the calendar and time allotment for it. But essentially what this looks like is we send a welcoming email to the children and the families of our own classroom near the end of August. And we invite them to obviously be a part of the community, but then also make an appointment with us at Hopes and Dreams for our conferences. And that's the time for the parent and the child to come to the school, to their classroom, meet their teacher, and go through the experience of course, dropping off supplies, looking at logistics, but also having that conference one-on-one to discuss their hopes and dreams for their child. We do send out a survey prior to the actual conference so that we can hold space for what's important for our families. We want them to feel important and heard and respected and cared for in our space, but also we want them to be able to have conversations that are meaningful to them in their conference. So if they're more concerned about lunch, we can talk about that. But if they're more concerned about reading curriculum or social emotional skills, we can talk about that too. And ultimately, we just want them to all feel very at ease because, as Madison said, having these big feelings about the beginning of kindergarten, that's very real. And we welcome not only the child, but the whole family into the community. And we know sometimes kindergarten can be the hardest with the most strings attached, the heartstrings especially. And so using this time to be intentional with what they find valuable to talk about, as well as anxiety reducing is also important for us too. So this is a huge area that we can also really use because we can set our children up for success in discussing and having those conversations about what parents maybe are concerned about or wondering about, but then also helping to make sure we have supports in place for that child so that from day one, they can feel supported by our student support team, equity inclusion, as well as any of those supports maybe that they already had in pre-K, so that we can keep that bridge going as they start their journey into school. So this happens the day before school starts, and then the fun rolls right the next morning.
And like Jenna said too, the parents have given great feedback about having that one-on-one conference before October to really have that opportunity to present wonderings, questions, those types of things to us. We have found it extremely, extremely beneficial. And we also get another chance to talk with the child, which is so important. We make it very child-focused as well, but we want to make sure the parents are heard.
So we're back to our student experience goal, and you can hear that we are a strong community of teachers, educators, humans that are supporting mainly our kids and our students and really getting to know who they are and their families. And this is evident in what we hear from our students in this engagement goal. And we were able to ask some questions to some of our K friends to highlight what makes them feel good at school. And so we're going to share that with you in the next slide here.
Hello, my name is Greta. Coloring out my friends makes me happy. Hi, my name is Kabir. What makes me feel good at school is when I play basketball or free choice.
Hi, my name is Jordy. What keeps me safe at school is doing Epic on iPads.
Hi, my name is Avery. My teachers make me feel good at school. Hi, my name is Kai. What makes me happy at school is my teacher and my friends. My name is Maddie. What makes me feel good at school is my friends. Hello, my name is Nora, and I like about this school is I play free choice with my friends. Hi, my name is Ahil. My favorite thing is my teacher. With Lisa, what I like to do at school is play with Gigi, Noah, and Greta. Hi, my name is Adrian, and I like playing with my friends at school. Hi, my name is Emmett, and what makes me feel good at school is playing with my friends. Hi, my name is good. My teachers make me feel good at school. Hello, my name is Javier Omar Orozco de Carrillo. Playing with Kai and when I heal. Hi, my name is Spencer. My friends make me good at school. Hi, my name is Cooper. What I like to do at school is play with my friend Cohen. Hi, my name is Waverly. What makes me good at school is it's fun. Hi, my name's Cohen. I like playing basketball at Free Choice with my friend. My name's Lucy. And what I like about school is because I feel safe. Hi, my name is Dido. What makes me feel good at school is my friends. And my name is Wes. What makes me feel good at kindergarten is my friends. Hi, my name is Gianna. And what makes me feel good is my friends. Hello, my name is Aurora. I like doing art at school with my friends.
So that is our presentation. We're happy to answer any questions that you might have. And I'd also like to extend a welcome to all of you to attend any of the upcoming events that you'd be interested in seeing in person. I think that might be a nice way for you to see what our kindergarten team's been doing firsthand. So feel free to reach out either to me or through Amy, and we will give you a nice guest pass and walk you through all of the magic.
We'll be treated special, right?
For sure.
Thank you for the presentation. Any questions, comments, colleagues? Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. It really means a lot. It's always great when we have a little window into your days. So, we were fortunate as board members to attend the bus ridership event and get to meet many of you. And it's just really such a great contribution to our community. So have this information, really just I think guides a lot of our decision making, grounds us in the work and the importance of our number one audience, which is our children. So thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say a huge thank you. I love seeing the successful learner equation. And I think what I loved about your presentation tonight is how you identified in each one of your, as you talked, how you're meeting each one of those things, right? How you connect the ready kids, the ready families, the ready schools and communities. And so thank you for getting each and every of our children off to a great start. It pays off and we so appreciate you.
Okay. Yeah, I have a. You want to go ahead? Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you, first of all, for coming. I love these spotlights, and I love it. I can't believe it's been a year. Like, I feel like we were just here together. The thing that stuck out to me is thank you for talking to us about the Hopes and Dreams meeting, because that was a shift, and we had to make that decision. And so it's good to hear how it's impacting you and how it has been a positive impact and how you would want to keep it. So thank you for sharing that with us. That makes a big difference.
All right. So thank you again for the presentation. I have maybe I'll ask a question first and then I'll make my comment about something else. So on the second or third slide, which you went back to again, that bar chart was 4%, 22%, 73. So what's the 22 and 73? What's the difference between those two?
Sometimes, right?
Yeah, so the yellow is always, and then the orange is sometimes, or sometimes, and then always. And so there was 5% that was not.
So it's like extremely satisfied, satisfied, and then the rest.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So you talk about belonging for the kids. I've done the ride on the bus every year that I've been on the board. To me personally, it makes me feel that I belong to the district, I belong to the community, I belong to the school children. And as a board member, I really appreciate that. So thank you for doing that every year. And I enjoy my time there a lot. So thank you again for the presentation. And hopefully we'll see you again in the next round, whenever that comes. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, next is the audience opportunity to address the board. It looks like there is one. I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you so much, Amy. So I'm going to read the little thing that I'm supposed to read. This section of the agenda provides an opportunity for members of the community to address the school board. Speakers who wish to provide input to the school board must complete the sign-up sheet and return it to our administrative assistant, Amy, sitting again to my right. Please note that you will need to complete a request form to be included, which I already have one here. When you are invited to the podium, please identify the subject and or the agenda items to which your comments pertain. Priority will be given to students and families with students currently enrolled in the district. The school board practice is not to engage in a discussion or debate with the speaker, but rather allow the speaker time to express their thoughts. And please present your comments in a respectful and professional manner. This evening, each speaker will be invited up to the podium to speak for 3 minutes. We have only one request tonight, and Amy will help us keep track. I believe Sheila has the card that she will show. And then when you see that the time is up, please stop your comments. If you have already shared your thoughts with the school board, please consider letting someone new address the board. If a community member shares a message similar to yours, please consider shortening your message or presenting as a group. All right. Since we have only one speaker tonight, it's Sally Dietenbach. Did I say that right? Okay. Welcome, Sally.
My name is Sally Dietzenbach. I teach 6th grade language arts, 7th grade social studies research, and 7th and 8th grade political science at East Middle School. I'm here tonight because our Wayzata middle schools no longer have teams, and we desperately need them back. Well-intended administrators may tell you that our middle schools still have teams, but in reality, they are teams in name only. For example, I am currently part of the Gold team at EMS. Our team only meets 2 to 3 times per month for about 15 minutes to either have relay races or to give out team awards. Our team award ceremonies are definitely not the same this year as they were in the past. Of the 115 students on my Gold team, I only have 29 of them as students. Of those 29, 16 of them only see me once a day for 20 minutes during advisor. They are not in any of my other classes. I've worked at other middle schools in the metro area districts, and I can tell you with confidence that having true teams was what used to set our Wayzata middle schools apart from the rest. But under our new middle school schedule, we are no longer operating as a middle school. We are using a junior high model. Teaming provides so many benefits for middle school students, such as consistent expectations, stronger student-teacher relationships, improved social emotional development, early intervention supports, and so much more. Without teams, school staff are still struggling to curb behaviors that could have easily been dealt with back in October. It is currently difficult to impossible to get all of the students' teachers on the same page about expectations, interventions, consequences, communication with parents. These are things that we frequently and easily did back when we had teaming. Without teams, it is much more difficult for teachers to build relationships with their students and for students to feel connected to both their teachers and each other. We no longer have the fun and engaging team activities and events that we used to provide to students constantly. Students are not able to bond over those shared group team experiences. Middle school students in our district are feeling lost, especially the 6th graders that I see coming in new to the school. And both students and teachers are feeling incredibly isolated. It often feels like there's nobody to support us when we need help. Teams used to be that support. Last school year, when this new middle school schedule was proposed, we were told that every effort would be made to keep teams, since students, parents, and teachers all agreed that they were so important. When the schedule was finalized at the end of the summer, we were told that there was just no way to make true teams work within this new schedule. If this new schedule truly is incompatible with teaming, maybe the answer is to abandon the schedule instead of abandoning the teams. Thank you.
Moving on to the administrative reports and recommendations. The first item is the policy approvals. And if you notice in the agenda, there is a slight modification. There are 12 policies under 8A that will be up for approval tonight because they are policies that have been modified. There is one policy that is a new policy, that's the cell phone policy. That is our first reading tonight. But Dr. Anderson will explain a little more, if you could, Dr. Anderson, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, Mr. Chair and members of the board, we've, as you're aware, we have a policy committee that reviews policies. They meet generally on a monthly basis, and we have a review cycle that different policies are looked at on a regular review process. The policies that are included in that first grouping that you referenced include the following: Policy 611, Child Care Program; 617, School Volunteers; 632, Extracurricular, Non-School Sponsored Independent Provider and School-Sponsored Community Education Clubs, Teams, Activities, better known as the longest named policy of any that we have in the book, maybe. 804, Emergency School Closings; 901, Communications and Public Relations Program; 902, Community Engagement Policy; 905, Community Involvement in Decision-Making; 912, Public Complaints; 916, Relations with Political Organizations; 917, Relations with Local Government Authorities; 919, Community Education; and 920, Use of School District Facilities and Equipment. All of these policies have been reviewed with the appropriate personnel that oversees these areas presenting at the policy committee with an opportunity for committee members to offer input and suggested edits and updates according to maybe things that have changed in statutory requirements or new programming or things that have been modified in one form or another. So the recommended action is to approve the policies that I just listed as presented in the attachments, and they are all included in your board packet and board materials.
All right, thank you, Dr. Anderson. So board colleagues, again, the recommended action is to approve the board policies as presented. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And we waive the second reading.
And with a request to waive the second reading of all of those that Dr. Anderson read out.
All right, is there a second?
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Is there a discussion?
Valentina can second.
I'm sorry. Is there a discussion? Okay, hearing none, this is a voice vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion passes. Okay, so the next one is the one policy that's listed, and that's the cell phone policy. This is the first reading, and I would ask Dr. Anderson to explain.
Sure, thank you. Also in your board materials tonight is a brand new policy. The one that's in our board packet is very reflective of what was developed by MSBA. There was a statutory requirement that was put in effect. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. I think just last year when there was a lot of policy review. It was a non-funding year. And one of the required policies for public school districts was to ensure that there's a what generically is kind of called a cell phone policy. This particular policy is titled Personal Electronic Communication Devices. And it, again, reflects closely the work of MSBA. We are a member of the Minnesota School Boards Association. They do a great job of updating policies according to statutory changes and creating new policies based on new laws that might have been implemented. So this is presented tonight. It's been reviewed by our policy committee and brought before you tonight for first viewing, first review. And I know with this particular policy, there's an interest in taking another look at it. So it's really presented tonight for first reading. There's no agenda sheet, no action required, but just an opportunity for school board members to take another look at that. I would like to just say that our buildings have really developed, I think, some really good protocols for cell phones and student utilization of electronic devices. I think those types of things are always under review and up for annual consideration for any changes. Putting my former school principal hat on, I remember on an annual basis spending a lot of time on updating handbooks and trying to think in terms of, okay, what did we work with last year or try to manage that would have been helpful to have the following language included. So I know principals work with their teams to try to keep these updated, and we also strive to the best degree possible, finding continuity and consistency. There are a few building variations dependent upon the leadership in the buildings and what they feel works best in their buildings. And we continue to work together as teams and do our best to be in alignment so that there is good consistency across the district. So with that, I don't have anything else to say about the policy for tonight, but I would imagine we'll bring this back in April. There was kind of a target date of having this in place and approved by March 15th, but having checked with MSBA and getting some additional input, they felt comfortable in just knowing that we were working toward the finalization of what will end up being our policy. Again, I would like to say I think we have really good protocols in place within the buildings. This policy will be sort of the umbrella to the regulations or the protocols. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. So as Dr. Anderson said, this is the first reading. I would, welcome comments, suggestions, discussion, but not in so much detail that we spend the next hour here. But if you have suggestions, comments, please say those now, and then Valentina, Director Ayers, as the policy committee chair, will take it to the next committee meeting, discuss that again, and bring that back as for the second reading in April. So if you have any suggestions, comments, questions, please go ahead. Dan?
Well, I mean, it's really just to, say thank you. I think it's, good that we're, getting this squared away. It was a requirement put to us by the legislature to have a policy on cell phones. And I think it's good that we kind of made a separation, elementary, middle, and high school. So I'm grateful that distinction was put in. I appreciate the work on this policy.
Anyone else? Oh, Sheila, yeah.
Just to clarify that we have a lot of, rules in place at each of the schools. This is a policy that we're adding, but it's not because we don't have something in place already. We don't have a policy in place, but we do have, again, in the handbook that the schools all have, again, at different levels, there are already rules in place regarding cell phone use.
I have a question for clarification. So will we have an opportunity to discuss during a work session, or is this the only opportunity right now?
As far as I know, just at the committee meeting, at the next April committee meeting. Unless Dr. Anderson feels it's...
Yeah, I would just say that could be determined yet. I mean, the agenda for the work session hasn't been finalized, so if that is an interest of the board to have conversation with the full group together, we can certainly do that. I don't know when the next policy meeting is. Do you know, Valentina?
At the end of the month.
So it'd be after the next work session, right?
One of the things we could do possibly is, instead of the work session, is if there are not too many questions, not a lot of discussion, maybe we could just say those now, right?
Okay, if I can say them, if it is right now, my major concern was after reading Anxious Generation and listening, I think that I forwarded to some members, was a discussion about how cell phones and technology affected our students. I feel very uncomfortable that we left it up to buildings. I'm talking about middle school, because middle school, like Central Middle School, is treated as high school, and East Middle and West Middle School, they are treated more like, close to elementary. And I feel like if we are saying that, we as a district saying that doesn't matter where a student, in which building is student located, we need to have the same consistency. I feel that one need to be, I'm not controlling it, but the free buildings need to come to the same policy, to the same expectations from the students.
So I don't know if other board members have any response to that, but If not, if you do, please say so right now. And otherwise, Dr. Anderson, could you clarify why we have done that? Why we have separated the policies for different schools?
I think for me to summarize that without the presence of the principals would be difficult because they're the ones that understand the dynamics within the buildings and what works and what doesn't. And I think in general, any of the protocols or regulations or guidelines in any building they're under continuous review. It isn't just an annual review, and I would prefer to defer and find a way to incorporate the principal's input so that they can speak directly for their buildings and what they've put into place and rationale for what works between the buildings.
So would you suggest that they attend, at least one or two of them attend the next policy committee meeting so that they can give input, or have a work session where they can attend, or just a written response? What's your suggestion?
I don't know, any of those would be on a list of options, I suppose, but I probably would connect with them and just indicate that the board has an interest in them sharing more insight and input on consistency between the buildings and to clarify and share rationale for.
Do we know of any other districts?
Committed.
I'm sorry. Do you know of any other districts that do what we are proposing?
I haven't done that research on all districts in regard to what they're doing.
Okay.
I think there's always some variation and some degree of difference between buildings in regard to a lot of the protocols, but I think continuity and consistency can be really a good thing. For example, now as we're moving some kids from building A to building B to have similarity is a helpful thing.
Okay, so Valentina, are you okay with working on those proposals, having the principals respond to your questions? By
Yes,
email?
as long as we have a discussion about it.
Right, absolutely. Or maybe, it's up to you. You can invite them at the policy committee meeting. And then the most time-consuming thing would be, in my opinion, would be to have a work session, have them come in, and so it's your call.
Okay, I will check with Dr. Anderson and we'll make decision then.
All right. So anything else that anybody would like to add? Another possibility, Dr. Anderson, would be to consult with the MSBA individual that is the policy guru.
I could do that. I'm not sure what insight they might have with a unique middle school. It'd be hard for that person to probably speak on behalf of that, but it's possible.
Yeah, and then perhaps the reason I brought it up is because if Terry has experience from different schools, different districts, that district X, Y, Z has done this. They have separated the policies for each middle school, and this is the reason. If he knows what the reason is, so the more we can find out from other sources, I think the better, more educated we can be. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so if we don't have any,
I had a handful of questions, but Valentina, you have them via email, which is typically how I get my questions, right? So I'll just.
Yes, thank you. Yes. All right. Let's moving on to the next item on the agenda. We have the financial reports presented by Executive Director of Finance and Operations, Scott Lesage. Scott will first present the combined financial report ending on January 30th, 2025. Scott. Yeah. Uh-oh. They should have at least sat down.
I was just going to brag about my big crowd tonight, but I'll hold my comments, so I'm kidding. Board Chair Sahoni, board members, Dr. Anderson, just here covering the normal monthly reports. So before I kind of touch on these, just a reminder that we'll be touching on the FY, how do we lower this? The FY 24-25 revised budget as our next agenda item. So Some of these numbers in here will be changed, obviously, next month, pending that the board approves the revised budget. So as pointed out on there, there's not too much up on there. I know the writing's really small, but this is the first 7 months of the fiscal year. Nothing really too tremendous to point out on that page. If you want to go to the next page. This kind of looks at just the overall. We're trending kind of right on track where we thought. If not, like for example, with the property taxes, those will be adjusted. If you remember, Finance Director David Draskovich talking last month, we'll have a $600,000 adjustment roughly in property taxes, which will put that pretty much right at 100%. State aids are right on par for what we expected. Federal aids, as you know, and I've explained many times, these are extraordinarily variable, especially with the COVID funding and then last year with them changing the system from SERVs over to MEGs. So we're pretty consistently doing draws. Those draws have been completed for the COVID pandemic, and as Finance Manager Jen Welk mentioned last month, that will hopefully be wrapping up. I know she's not going to miss doing all of that reporting. So grateful for those dollars, but it is a lot of tracking. Other thing to point out, miscellaneous local revenues, Finance Director David Draskovich talked about that. We've had some E-rate payments, which has increased that percentage a little bit. So you see a little spike there. Those will be adjusted. Food service right on par with where we believe. Community service also at 67%, looking good. And then debt service, that one pretty much always better be right on. Otherwise, you've got bigger problems. So, all right, flipping to the next page, Amy. The two that I always point out that we pay really, really close attention to are obviously the salaries and benefits. From our revised budget presentation last Monday, we kind of focus on the fact that those are 70+% of our expenditures overall. So we watch those. As you can see, our salaries are pretty much right on par. And then our benefits, this will be adjusted, as you recall, from the presentation last Monday. That is an area that we adjusted. We expected there to be some fluctuation for a few different reasons, including just not knowing where benefits will come in, what people will choose, if people will be contributing to their 403Bs, a lot of different variables. So we've always told the board we conservatively budget when we do the preliminary budget back in June, and kind of assume, I don't want to call it worst case scenario, but most costly scenario, and then adjust from there. So other thing, supplies and materials, capital expenditures, and then other expenditures, those are things that either myself or David Draskovich have talked about, can vary significantly depending on the timing of payments and when we get the billing for those. Food service fund is right on par with expenditures in comparison to prior years. So is community service and debt service. And then finally, the last page, this just shows where we're sitting at cash. Just a reminder, this is through the end of January. So roughly about 40 million, just over 40 million in our PMA and Mislav Trust accounts. Any questions from the board members?
Oops, thank you. Next, Scott will present the revised update for the general fund for the fiscal year ending on June 30th, 2025.
Perfect. Thank you, Board Chair Sahoni, board members again, and Dr. Anderson. Last Monday, March 3rd, Finance Director David Draskovich, Finance Manager Jen Welk, and myself presented the FY 24-25 revised budget to the school board. At that meeting, we covered the general fund and walked through our story since the pandemic. As you recall from the presentation, the district is trending in a positive direction that can be attributed to the cost containment of more than $11 million over the last 3 years plus, and then heavily aided by the recovery by the above average student enrollment to put us in a really positive spot. So with the LTFM adjustment of $5.4 million, it puts us at $2.3 million expenditures over revenues, which we're asking the board to approve tonight. But noting, and as explained during our presentation last Monday, when taking out the adjustment for LTFM, the district is projecting roughly $3.2 million revenue over expenditures. That probably tells the true story. Like I talked about, the LTFM is more of just a cash flow adjustment over years. And so as earlier stated, I feel like we're recovering well. I've said it until I was blue in the face. We are a pupil-driven revenue system, so we were very wise when the pandemic hit, and we went into cost containment when we lost students and then did not continue to grow at the clip. So between that 11 million plus in cuts and the enrollment that we're seeing right now, we're really trending in the right direction. So obviously, I always put the asterisk there. There's lots of variables that can impact our projection that includes student growth, coming to fruition, negotiations and employee settlements, unforeseen public health emergencies, and changes at the federal level with funding. So tonight, we're asking the board to approve the FY 24-25 budget as presented in the board packet.
The recommended action is to approve the updated revised budget for the fiscal year ending on June 2025. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there a discussion?
I mean, really just to say thank you, Scott. I appreciate, also our treasurer, Sarah Johansson, for, getting us together to really be well informed so we could, cast this vote and all that. And I'm heartened to see the enrollment trending in the right direction, certainly to foreshadow Melinda Mine's board report on our legislative conversations today with our state representative, state senators. They were happy to hear the same things as well. So thank you for all your hard work and the hard work of your team.
Okay, so I have a question that I've been thinking about for every time that you present the budget and for approval, and I always forget. So this is something I just need to understand. So you have the budget with the LTFM included. Then you have the budget without the LTFM, and that's the one that's kind of more important. So why even have the one with the LTFM in there? Can you not just say this is without LTFM and this is LTFM? So why is that whole budget?
Because technically we have to recognize that
Really?
because the LTFM shows up in our financial statements and it is a restricted funding.
Yeah.
So as much as we don't want to show it, we have to show it, but that's why subsequently I show the following page and I describe to the board that what that true picture is. So a lot of that, obviously, like I said, is out of our control. We intend to do the projects that we levy those dollars for, but as the state is responsible to taxpayers, they take those dollars back.
I don't know if I misspoke, but I'm not saying that we don't show the LTFM at all. I'm just wondering why it has to be shown in a budget format instead of just one line item saying this is the LTFM. So
yeah, we can adjust
the
that
requirement.
Yeah, I think just bottom line has to kind of show that. So.
Okay, thank you for that. So again, the recommendation is to approve the updated revised budget for the fiscal year ending on June 30th, 2025. It has been moved and seconded. So this is a roll call vote.
Dan Ginestra,
Yes.
Sarah Johansson,
Yes.
Paris Bende is absent, Sheila Pryor, yes, Heidi Cater,
Yes.
Valentina Ayers,
Yes.
Milan Sahoni.
Yes, the motion passes. Thank you. And then finally, Scott will recommend a resolution to approve the intent to issue general obligation capital facilities bonds series 2025A. Scott.
Perfect. Thank you, Board Chair Sahoni, board members, Dr. Anderson again. So here tonight just to talk about the Series 2025 General Obligation Capital Facilities Bonds. The full information obviously is in the board packet. But as part of the recently completed attendance area adjustment process, the district remains committed to maintaining the feeder school system model. So by doing this, we're able to essentially meet that model. How we did that was that West was able to take an additional elementary school. So the district looked at how we could handle that. Principal Carlson was very open to making that happen. The district recognized that we had roughly 13,000 square feet of locker room space at West Middle School that could be converted into usable space to add classrooms to be able to facilitate and handle the growth that's expected over the next several years. So what this is looking at tonight is just the intent to issue these facility bonds. So this just basically is the start of the process. I know we've talked about this at facility committee meetings, finance committee meetings, and even a few discussions here. But this would be the first step in that as outlined on the calendar that is up on the screen. But by doing this tonight, this just allows us to start or continue moving forward with the process. You'll notice $5.5 million on there, but it's flexible. And so we can adjust to what it actually is. If you recall, initially in the planning, we were going to come a little bit earlier to the board. And you'll notice that we wouldn't get those proceeds until August. We wouldn't issue them until July. That is very thoughtful and on purpose with being responsible with the funds, because we're waiting until we get those bids to come in so we can ask closer to what we actually need. So those could be adjusted out following tonight's meeting. It would be posted in the paper. A statement would be posted in the paper. And we would also send it to the Department of Ed for approval. So any questions on this? I don't want to read it word for word. I know it was in the board packet, but wasn't sure if there's any questions or comments or anything else I could clarify. Okay.
Oh, thank you. So I'm wondering if I should just read the recommendation, move, second, and then there will be a discussion. Yeah, okay. All right, so the recommended action is to approve the resolution relating to the intent to issue $5.5 million of general obligation capital facilities bonds, Series 2025A. Is there a motion?
I so move and ask that we waive the reading of the resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Now we can have a discussion if anybody has questions or comments.
I just have a clarifying question. So when you say we can adjust, so today it would be for an approval of 5.5 million. And as we get closer, we'll have bids in and then we can adjust down. Is that correct?
It's to a maximum of 5.5. So yes, we would adjust down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would like, Chair, I would like to move that the motion be amended by striking out the following words as district-wide. Because, yes, we discussed about East Middle School, but when and I wish that we read resolution, the resolution is stating that we are given freedom to do it in district-wide, while the project is actually towards West Middle School. And I'm making a motion to strike the words district-wide.
Okay, before I ask for a second, can you explain what Heidi, I believe, just mentioned about the $5.5 million set aside only for the West Middle School, and if there is anything else left, is the board assured that it will not be used for anything else without the board's approval?
Yes, that would be the case. Yeah, this is pretty common language inside of these. Obviously, like I said, our intent is to use on the West Middle School project. We've been very transparent about that with meeting the needs from the attendance area adjustment process. So I think it's even furthered by the fact that we're waiting until we're getting bids before we issue that, so we know the amount that we'll be issuing. So, but if that would need to be removed, that can absolutely be done. It just provides flexibility for the district.
Okay with
But then, to be honest, we're already given flexibility in doing it right now before bidding. Bidding will start in June. And now we're given flexibility with the wording district-wide, which leaves me very uncomfortable. And to be honest, if we are going to be using it at West Middle School, then removing district-wide should not change anything. Money will come.
Yeah, okay.
If I could just ask a clarification question, Scott, I'm curious, could you remind us who wrote this document?
Yes, that was our board attorney, Andrea Hedke from Dorsey and Whitney LLP.
Okay.
And she's taken care of us before with these bond issues.
So would it be safe to say that it's written and presented in a way that would be consistent with statutes, and she would have used her legal expertise to word this in a way that would be well supported and in alignment with state statutes?
I would assume that would absolutely be. But again, as I said, I think the language in there is pretty common. It provides flexibility, but if the board felt it needed to be removed, we could remove it.
So it wouldn't have wouldn't modify the effect or impact of the document in any way that would.
I would want to clarify 100%. She's told me it could be removed, but as we've talked about during the process, during the Finance and Facilities Committee meetings, part of that project obviously is the locker room and that building. So at West Middle School, so a lot of us took a tour of if the music suites go downstairs, as that was one of the plans, there would be some renovation in those rooms. I don't know when we do that, but that's where the flexibility in the language was, is that if that project somehow bid out and came in under when the costs were finalized, we'd maybe be able to start doing that, because part of the thought process on this is we're trying to be really respectful and good stewards of the taxpayers' money by utilizing this vehicle, because it's not impacting our local taxpayers and it's not impacting our budget because it's already inside of the constraints of our capital outlay dollars.
Maybe I'm reading too much into this, though. Is it likely or possible that when the West Middle School project is undertaken, the construction somehow affects something else that's outside the purview of the West Middle School project, and then we have to spend some money on that outside thing? Is that why the language is put such in a way?
I'm not certain.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. So I am comfortable with the language, Valentina, but if you still want to move that, and if somebody seconds, only then will the motion go up for a vote. But
There's an amendment on the table. There's an amendment on the table. We just need to follow Robert's rules if we could.
I'm sorry?
There's an amendment on the table, so.
I know, but
could
she
we
has
please
moved that,
follow
but
Robert's
nobody has seconded that yet.
Right.
So
The
that's what I'm
opportunity
telling you.
needs to be given.
Right. But if nobody seconds it, then I'm just letting her know that it will not go anywhere. So you still want to move that as an amendment? Okay. Okay. We have. Oh, you're not seconding. I'm sorry. I thought you said. No, there is. Yeah. Is there a second? Okay. Well,
You have to do it 3 times.
oh, is there a second? Is there a second? Hearing none, the motion to amend fails. We will go back to the original recommendation, and that recommendation is to approve the resolution relating to the intent to issue $5.5 million of general obligation capital facilities bonds, Series 2025A. We have already moved this, seconded, and
I have a comment.
yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you to the team, and thank you for our partners at Ehlers, and thank you to both the board facilities and the finance committee. It's really important, as we identified even in the changing budget updates, that we as a board provide the utmost flexibility for our administrators and for our resources so we can respond to the needs of our students. And I know that by sending out the bids and the work that we've done, that there's a high level of confidence, of due diligence, of seeking bids through the process. And as we move forward, the anticipation of the principal team and the finance and the facilities team is really going to set us up for operational excellence and help us to meet the needs of our students. So thank you, Scott, to your team. Thank you to the facilities committee for your work in helping us to get to this point.
I also want to make a quick comment, Scott. Thank you for doing all this work, no doubt about that. Also, we have been struggling with class sizes, and this hopefully will be good news for addressing that, right? Obviously, we'll have more classes, more space for students to work in, and basically just replacing something that has not been used for a long time. So thank you so much for that.
I would like to just reinforce too the importance of this project. And as we recall back when we were going through the attendance areas, in order for us to have a full 3 schools feeding into West Middle School, this was a really important project. So it has been a tremendous amount of work, I know, with Ehlers and those that have worked with our team, with Scott and others within the finance team to get us to this point. And it's important to maintain good timelines when you're making remodeling and construction so that you can do all the due diligence on the front end and make sure that when school opens in the fall of 26th that these classrooms will be available and ready. So thanks, Scott, for your work on that. I appreciate it.
Okay, so one more time, the recommended action is to approve the resolution relating to the intent to issue. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you for reminding, because I wanted to say thank you to being in, I never done vet to vet degree, and I wanted to say thank you to you too, because I sent an email with a bunch of questions and you clarified, you spent time and clarified. And I want to clarify also my motion that I am not by any means trying to be an obstructionist. Because yes, I totally agree. If there is a space and we can use that space for middle school students, I mean, I support it. The only thing why I am I was asking for amendment, it was the wording district-wide. I'm totally fine with money being spent at West Middle School and prioritizing students and finding space for them. The only thing what I asked is that district-wide. That's all what. But one more time, thank you very much, because you had patience. You explained to me a lot, and I'm learning a lot. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you, Sheila, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, well, first to Valentina, I appreciate you asking questions like this. I think it's definitely okay to, question these things sometimes, because, if it's been like this way forever and we just assume it's fine, then it's okay to question it. I think I'm just speaking for myself personally. I don't want to, the reason I didn't personally second it was, I don't want to change the wording of something that has been written by the lawyers. And I know we've done our due diligence, and I know that this money is going to be spent on West Middle School. And, this just allows for an unknown, and I don't want to do something again that might have unintended consequences later. So just to.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Valentina, for that. And as far as I'm concerned, this is again just my opinion. I trust your word, and that's why I specifically asked you if anything will be spent on any other project. And we have to trust each other, right? So
yeah, our intention is to only use the dollars at West Middle School.
Thank you, Scott. So if there are no other comments, questions, I'm going to read the recommended action again is to approve the resolution relating to the intent to use $5.5 million of general obligation capital facilities bonds, series 2025A. This is a roll call vote, Sheila.
Valentina Ayers.
In this case, I'll take abstention.
Okay.
Dan Ginestra.
Yes.
Sarah Johansson.
Yes.
Horace Bende is absent. Sheila Pryor, yes. Heidi Cater.
Yes.
Milan Sahoni.
Yes, the motion passes. Thank you. All right, there are no human resources reports tonight, and next we will move to the other board action, of which there are none either. All right, the final item on the agenda is board reports. This section of the agenda provides an opportunity for board members to update school board members on school board related work or to make announcements of interest to the public. We have two reports tonight. One is by Heidi. Director Kader will talk about her. Were you judging at DECA? Or?
No, I did that. That was last month.
Okay,
yeah.
So whatever you need to speak, you're going to speak tonight?
No.
Okay, it was on the list. Okay, all right, never mind. Then we don't have Heidi's reports tonight, but we do have a report from Director Ginestra and myself on our attendance at the day at the Capitol. It's fresh from today, so I'm going to start, and then I'm going to hand it over to Dan, and then Dr. Anderson also attended that, so if you have any comments to make afterwards, please feel free. So the Minnesota School Boards Association, also commonly known as MSBA, which represents 330 school districts in Minnesota, and on whose board I have the honor of serving, in collaboration with the Minnesota Association of School Administrators, organizes an annual event called the Day at the Capitol. Members of both organizations gather for networking and learning and to hear from some of Minnesota's education policy and finance decision makers. In the afternoon, attendees have the opportunity to meet with legislators. The event was held at the state capitol today. Director Ginestra and I attended along with Dr. Anderson. The panel during the morning session consisted of Senator Mary Kunesh, who is the Education Finance Committee Chair, and Senator Jason Rarick from the Senate, and Representative Mary Frances Clarity and Representative Ben Pakeberg from the House. We learned about the various education bills in committees right now and their views on the future of education in the state. So I'm going to hand it over to Director Ginestra, who will now share about information about our visits with the legislators. Dan?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It really was a great joy to attend and meet and conference with legislators, hear from MSBA personnel, and partake in these really important listening sessions on legislation forthcoming, upcoming, and the lot. The main issues that we discussed with our legislators were unemployment insurance, earned sick and safe time, and then a general conversation about the impact of mandates on school boards and school districts. And then they were very curious too. They wanted to hear from us in our district and what our needs were, what our concerns were. And so we talked about our enrollment growth. We talked about expansions in our district, like what we just approved. And then our overall budget standing. And then just kind of whatever, general challenges we might see in the future or obstacles in our way. So, really just a great day all around to talk to a lot of very influential people in our lives and the well-being of our students. Who always come first. So with that, I'll turn things over to you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
I just want to add, should we just mention the names? Would you like to mention the names who we talked to? Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So we met with, I'll kind of go, geographically, clockwise. So we met with Representative Kristen Robbins. We met with Ginny Cleavorn, Patty Acomb, Ned Carroll, Ann Johnson Stewart, and then, but I've already said Kristen Robbins. So we were fortunate with influential individuals. Next on our agenda for 2 weeks from now, we'll be there for the AMSD conference. And on our agenda for then, we'll be meeting with Senator Bonnie Westland, Representative Andrew Myers, and then Mark Freeberg. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
I would just mention too, I don't really have anything to add about the day. It's always a good opportunity to strengthen relationships with our legislators and run into colleagues, not only fellow superintendents for me, but for our board members who are in attendance to interact with board members that they've come to know or to meet some new ones as well. And in addition to the list that Dan shared, I also had a chance to meet with Senator Warren Limmer this afternoon. I think that might complete the list. We kind of divided up and went different directions because they were scheduled back to back in different buildings sometimes. So we had to divide and conquer, so to speak.
Yeah. Not just back to back, but I think the one we divided was at the exact same time.
They were, you're right. Yeah.
But did you mention Representative Banner? Kristen Banner?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did catch her in the hallway. That's right. Yeah.
All right. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I think what I've learned in the last 2-3 years is how important experience is. And Dr. Anderson's 16, 17 years speaks for itself. And they listen to him. So thank you for your participation and your advocacy. Okay. So the next board work session is on Monday, March 24th. This concludes the Wayzata Public Schools regular board meeting for Monday, March 10th, 2025. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
I second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The motion passes. The Wayzata Public Schools Board of Education regular meeting for Monday, March 10th, 2025 is adjourned.